everybody, so I changed gears for my Friday video. I was going to do a different video, a wish list video, and then I ended up falling down a rabbit hole regarding Morphe, and I could have done this at a later time, sure. I could have spent more time doing research, but no, I want to talk about it now while it's all still fresh in my mind. Because after I did my palette inventory and I was chatting with some people about like future plans for palette projects and kind of what stuff was on my radar, what I was planning, and I was talking about how excited I was to be doing stuff with like throwback palettes and doing some little like palette research kind of videos, because I've been loving the research stuff. It's just something I'm so passionate about, just in all areas of my life. So being able to translate that onto here in a more permanent basis, as opposed to like every now and then, just making it more regular, has been wonderful. So I ended up doing some Morphe research, which led to like 2 a.m. me on Twitter, like, can people confirm my facts? I was just, you know, at the very end of their Instagram, which really wasn't very long because they deleted a lot of posts. Anyway, we'll get into that. I wanted to talk about the 35O palette and then also the Jaclyn Favorites palette, which just sort of came out of my research. So this is the 35O palette. I own it because I fell for the hype. And as I was thinking about it, I was like, wow, I really fell hard for the Morphe hype. And a lot of that had to do with Jaclyn Hill. And I was definitely one of those people who was like casually defending Morphe, and people were like, Morphe's this, Morphe's that. I was like, no, it's good, I like it. And I mean, look at my palette. If you've seen my palette inventory, you know how used my palettes are, that like I actually use a lot. Look at this. This is not used. I did use this today for my eyes because I thought, well, let's do that. There's a reason why I don't use it very often. But how did this palette become the thing? Like, how did it become so hyped? I really wanted to kind of look back a little bit into history. So this is just a little bit about the Jaclyn Favorites palette and the Morphe 35O palette. So someone left this comment on my ColourPop history video where they said Kathleen Lights is to ColourPop what Jaclyn Hill is to Morphe, and I think that is so incredibly accurate. Morphe, without a doubt, got their biggest push from Jaclyn. This is why I speculate they still work together today, and why Morphe's parent company, which is essentially Morphe. So this is a whole convoluted thing. Like I said, I spent a few hours researching, and a lot of this research was at like the early AM hours when I couldn't sleep, and I just was hooked on discovering as much as I possibly could. But Morphe and the people behind Morphe have a lot of different companies, a lot of incorporations, a lot of corporations, and they had Morphe Holdings, which then became Forma. And Forma technically owns Morphe, which is its own separate entity, and they are also the parent company to Jaclyn Hill Cosmetics. It's very interesting, and there's a lot of layers there, but this isn't a deep dive into Morphe because that would be incredibly time-consuming and probably expensive. Honestly, damn Delaware and their freaking charges for company registration documents. I'm not a fan. So many companies, just a little side note, many companies will register first in Delaware because there's a whole legal tax loophole thing. Of course, it comes down to making sure that they get the most out of their money. But often when a company is run out of California, there's often some cross registration. So a lot of the California business documents are public access. Not always though, like in this case, because there is not a lot of registration that I could find for the companies tied to Morphe, and there are a lot. They are listed on the Delaware page, but Delaware is like, hey, we're gonna charge you like 20 bucks plus for all these documents. I want to plan a trip to Delaware when all this COVID stuff's over. A sentence I never thought I would say. Just gonna come in with like a stack of requests and be like, I want all of these, and because I came here, they are free. It would cost less for me to actually go there in person to request all these documents and for me to order them. So if anybody lives in Delaware and wants to hook me up with some documents for some research, get in touch. Kind of not kidding. So I do have my notes here as usual because it just keeps me on track, and as you can tell, I already kind of went off on this Delaware tangent. I'm talking about Delaware more than I ever thought I would. But anyway, long story short, I do have like a few little like maybe interesting little tidbits about Morphe that I want to share, but there are a few people who have done Morphe history videos and have approached it from different angles, talking about like different business practices and different areas of their sketchiness. You've probably seen them all, but Stephanie Nicole, Smoky Glow, Illuminati, those just to name a few. If you do a YouTube search for like Morphe history, you can find a lot of them, and they're very interesting, and they approach it all from different perspectives. But basically, Morphe's story is that they started in 2008 as some humble makeup brush store that just sort of expanded slowly and grew organically, which, okay. I found a trademark for Morphe, and the first use in commercial date is listed as May 1st, 2003, which is suspicious in and of itself. And the company that had trademarked Morphe to sell brushes was CLT Beauty LLC, and the names in the document are Chris Tawil and Simon Tawil. So Chris Tawil is Linda Morphe's brother. They technically, or by their story, founded Morphe together. And the purpose of their company, according to this document, is to wholesale makeup brushes. So this company doesn't exist anymore. They dissolved the company because then it became Morphe, and like I said, all of these other variations and spin-offs of Morphe. But I just wanted to give a little background there because basically, as we probably all know, Morphe is sketchy. Very sketchy. When I was doing my research, and the thing that made me want to do this video the most was when I found that they deleted all of their Instagram posts before September 14th, 2016. Why? They've also deleted Twitter posts as well, so like they've really done a cleaning of their social media, and I don't understand what they're hiding. But not everybody affiliated with Morphe has made their social media posts disappear. So let's talk about Jaclyn Hill and how she kind of brought Morphe to the attention of many people. So Jaclyn's first mention of Morphe was in a video on August 19th of 2014, and I'm honestly really surprised that this video is still up on her channel. Not because she mentions Morphe, but because of the whole context of the video. It's like this real talk addressing the haters video because she apparently felt forced to take down a vlog she had posted from her trip to California because people were saying she had changed and she was so different and the fame had gone to her head. And she spends the first part of this video just talking about how like she's a real person, she's not famous, she would never be a sellout, she is who she is, and like all this stuff in the beginning of the video. And then she talks about Morphe, and she switches gears pretty quickly from this, oh my god, I promise you I am the most honest and trustworthy person ever, to oh my god, but while I was in California I got invited to the Morphe store and look at these amazing eyeshadows. Are $2. They're so creamy and pigmented, and oh my god, I love them. And by the way, did I mention that they're $2? They're so affordable. Oh my god, I love them. Look how beautiful they are. Morphe. Did I mention Morphe? $2? Only $2? Yeah. So it's sort of a strange video because of the way that it flips so dramatically. And maybe it's just the hindsight that's funny after everything that's happened with Morphe, but it's such a bizarre video. So you can go watch that if you want to go watch it. I hope that she won't take it down. But anyway, I just thought it was very interesting. So of course, Jaclyn's fans just flood to Morphe's website, and the website is inundated with orders. So a couple of weeks later, on September 5th, again, still 2014, Jaclyn posts a beauty favorites video, and she talks about how the website crashed because so many people were on there trying to purchase things and they weren't expecting it, and the owner of Morphe, Linda, was just distraught and full of anxiety and couldn't sleep because the website went down, and she didn't know what she was going to do with herself, and she felt so bad that the website went down, and they just weren't expecting it because Jaclyn didn't tell anybody that she was going to be talking about them, and it was overwhelming for them. And so she, Linda, wanted to offer Jaclyn's fans a discount. Jack Attack, 10% off. It was just purely because of that accident with the website and how guilty she felt, and she wanted to reward Jaclyn's fans and Jaclyn was like, well, these are already a good deal. Like, it's already $2. You already want to take a further 10% off? Okay, well, here's this discount code just for you guys to make up for this tragic accident that you couldn't get access to their website. So this was not mentioned as an affiliate code, and there I know, like, Here for the Tea did a video as well talking about the Morphe affiliate codes, which kind of really shone a big spotlight on that, because for the longest time people were talking about discount codes purely as discount codes and not as affiliate codes, meaning that people got money back for it. It seems like common knowledge now, but there was a time when it really was not common knowledge, which is why I'm mentioning it, because nowhere in that video did Jaclyn talk about how that was an affiliate code, which we now know it is. She was just saying it's a discount code, and that the owner of Morphe really wanted it to go to Jaclyn's fans to kind of make up for this issue with their website, which isn't entirely true, because that code stayed with Jaclyn, and that's still, as far as I know, her active Morphe affiliate code. Now, a couple of months later, on New Year's Eve 2014, was going to be the pre-sale launch of Jaclyn Hill's favorites palette with Morphe. So this is where all of this was going to, was because this is how quickly all of this stuff came together. It went from the end of August with her mentioning Morphe for the first time to the end of December, she has a collaboration with them. The timeline with this is interesting just because it was, oh, we worked on this for so long, we wanted to make sure that everything was right, but it was just a couple of months between putting together this palette with these favorite shadows, which apparently are things that Morphe sold individually, and they were just put together in that 35 pan format. Now, there's been a lot of speculation about Morphe being private labeled and if the palette was already pre-assembled. I'm not going to speculate on the private labeling, because while it seems likely from evidence that has been put forward, there is no concrete proof about it. It just seems to be kind of one of those like accepted but unproven things. But also, the weirdest thing about this Jaclyn Hill's favorites video is that she didn't announce it on YouTube. And this was a time when Jaclyn was uploading fairly often. And from the time that she announced the palette, which was conveniently Christmas Eve, so the pre-launch sale was supposed to be on New Year's Eve. She announced it on her Instagram on Christmas Eve, which is, of course, timing, right? People are just going to be getting Christmas money and everything else, so it all makes sense. Christmas Eve, this is posted on her Instagram. In between Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, Jaclyn posts 3 makeup tutorials. Not a single one even mentions her Morphe collaboration, except for the very last one posted on New Year's Eve, which has it mentioned in the description box only. There's no mention of it in the video. She doesn't show it. She doesn't use it. So I just thought that was really interesting that she announced this on Instagram, but did not do a YouTube video on it where her largest audience is. So when people went to purchase that palette on New Year's Eve, the website crashed again. So Jaclyn did a favorites video. This was on January 4th, 2015. So she did a favorites video and sort of palette update where she also showed the palette for the first time on YouTube. And she talked about how the issues with the website, how the owner couldn't sleep and they couldn't believe it, and they were hacked from every single direction, and oh my god, it was such a tragedy, and they didn't know what to do with the hacking but somehow got it straightened out, and the palette sold out in 2 days. It's so interesting to me, and it also took her a very, very long time to do a tutorial on her own channel with her palette. So she managed to sell this by showing it on Snapchat and Instagram, but not even showing it on YouTube until after it sold out, which is just really a true testament to Jaclyn's fan base and how she can sell pretty much anything. But why Morphe? And like, why do people push Morphe so hard? Or why did they push Morphe so hard? I have some theories. I want to gossip a little bit, but first I want to talk about the 35O palette because that was my whole reason for doing this video in the first place. So on August 3rd of 2015, Jaclyn posted a picture of the 35O palette on her Instagram in the caption mentioning that she had showed it on Snapchat. So I don't have access to old Snapchat videos, but this was a really heavily used platform by a lot of influencers. A lot of people were doing their Snapchat stories, and then it really got taken over when Instagram stories became a thing because nobody needed Snapchat anymore, so Instagram stories became the new thing. But Snapchat, an easy way to show these stories that have a limited time, so she was often showing and talking about Morphe stuff on there. So she showed that and then decided to post the palette on her Instagram with her code and talking about how amazing it was. It sold out, allegedly again, in 20 minutes. So this was August 3rd. Then there was a restock on August 7th, which also sold out incredibly quickly, and she posted about that on Twitter. And then August 19th came another restock, which Nikki Tutorials and Manny MUA tweeted about. And Manny is another, like, he was a real hard Morphe code pusher. Like, I think he really tried to get that affiliate code. Like, I was watching some of his earlier videos, which were kind of cringy. As someone who like generally likes Manny, I forgot kind of how cringy those videos are and just like how heavy the Morphe love was especially. But wow, what a surprise. The palette sells out again. Of course, this is the supply and demand method, but kind of like really amped up because there's no way they ran out of product that quickly. It's pretty well known, and you can look at like importer documents because a lot of that stuff is public, so you can see where Morphe gets a lot of their shipments from. And a lot of the shipments of their products, like their eyeshadow palettes, come from factories in China, and those are shipped by boat, and those take a long time to get from China to the US to California. It's gonna take, you know, about a month to ship those palettes in, which is why there would be a delay in some cases, like when Jaclyn talked about her favorites palette and how it was going to be not restocked until February. So it kind of makes sense that that timeline all fits together. Just like when she talks then afterwards about the restock again for the 35O palette, the supposed massive restock, because Jaclyn did a finally Morphe 35O makeup tutorial video, and this was on September 30th, and she talked about how the palette had been sold out for like almost 2 months, which not true. She talked about how the palette had been sold out for like 4 to 6 weeks, and how finally now it's back in stock, which is like conveniently just about the same time frame it takes to ship something over from China. But she talked about how she had an extra discount code at this point, an extra 15% off for people instead of 10% off to make up for the hassle, because everybody, oh, Linda at Morphe felt so bad, and she felt so bad for all of her fans who really wanted this palette. So extra 15% off, limited time only, get this palette now. And of course she said she timed her video to correspond exactly when the palette would be available again. And then, of course, it sold out again, and the trend just continued. So there were so many hashtag Team Morphe, hashtag Morphe girls, hashtag Morphe babes that were promoting this palette. Some were promoting for profit, and some were just doing it for free. And that's the testament of influencers, because so many people fell for it and felt like, well, hey, if my favorite influencers are talking about how much they love this, then I have to love it. And people were posting about it and tweeting about it before they even received it, telling people like, you have to just make sure you get yours next time it goes on stock. And people were hounding like websites for it. People were constantly talking about it. People were voicing their displeasure when it was sold out because they wanted it so badly. They needed this palette. It just became a need because they created that artificial supply and demand by having it in and out of stock. So some people were able to get it, and then influencers would like retweet people who had ordered it, because of course people had to go tell their friends that they received it. So someone would be like, oh my god, Manny, I'm so excited, I just ordered my 35O palette, and Manny would retweet it and be like, oh my god, can't wait, you're gonna love it, you're gonna be so obsessed, hopefully everybody else gets theirs next restock, and stuff like that would continuously happen. So it was that friendship thing, and then it just sort of just spiraled. Like everybody felt like they needed this palette, and so many people were tweeting about it. I fell for it. I'm an example of that exact person who like watched those videos, who saw those Instagram posts, who was like, I need this. I need this. And it just doesn't go farther beyond the hype of the, oh my god, I'd be so obsessed, it's such a good deal, it's totally worth it. Was it? No. And I don't know if everybody would say that, but you know, people don't want to step on the toes of people who are Morphe affiliates. So about the affiliate codes and about the pressure to push, I have some theories, and this is where just the flat out gossip comes in. And I hesitated doing this, but then I thought, you know what? We're just gonna chat. I don't want anybody to go repeating what I say as fact, because I'm speculating based on some of my experiences, but I've never worked with Morphe. I've never been approached by Morphe, so I don't know what their affiliation contract looks like. Because when you get an affiliate code, you have to sign a contract. And usually there are some legalities in those contracts as well, meaning you can't talk about certain things. If anybody happens to know specifics about the Morphe affiliate program, I would love to hear them. But I'm basing my speculation off of some companies that have contacted me, who have sent me some of those affiliate forms and things of basically brands I'm not affiliated with or companies I'm not affiliated with, but their models make me think that this could be a way that Morphe approaches things. So again, just pure speculation. Now it is still a lot of money, because even if they're only getting their 10% back, like let's say 5,000 sales. So if it was 5,000 35O pallets sold at $35 a pop, getting $350 from each pallet, that's still $17,500, and that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to come from just an affiliate code. But some of the time, these brands have extra incentives as well. So if you bring in a certain dollar amount in sales, not just your percentage, but if you bring in a certain dollar amount in sales, they will reward you with, say, an extra bonus. They will give you extra product. There could be certain tiers. I'm going to use this general example because this is a real thing. I just can't talk about specifics because I can't for legal reasons, as I don't want to get in legal trouble, so I'm not mentioning brand names or company names or any of this stuff, but this is a real example where you would have a bunch of different tiers. So like the second tier, then you bring in a certain dollar amount for the company and you get that product sent to you and that extra bonus. Your bonus goes up, so they give you like an extra fee for bringing in all of that money for them. And then maybe you do really well and you bring in so much money and it's consistent over a set period of time. They're like, hey, we want you to create a favorite set with us. We want you to create a bundle with us because you brought so much money and so much traffic to us. So you're also going to get all the above perks, but you're also going to create your own set. And then again, still, wow, you brought even more money in. Well, you're going to get all of the above. Plus, we're going to really plug you hard on our social media. You are going to do like takeovers on our social media platforms, and we are going to repost you, and we are going to drum traffic up and increase your audience. And then, wow, even further, well, you're creating products and you are collaborating with them. Just an example that I wouldn't be surprised Morphe's actually using, with increased dollar amounts for bringing in the most. Some do competitions or raffles where you get entered to win prizes, basically, and some of them can be pretty elaborate, extravagant prizes, and you get like an entry for every affiliate purchase. So there's a lot of like these behind the scene things that go on with affiliations that I don't feel like are often talked about. I'm not trying to criticize anybody for getting money, but I just feel like Morphe was pushed so heavily that I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of it, of like that collaborative thing of like getting something extra in return, whether it was an extra like financial bonus or if it had something to do with the collaboration, which I mean still would be a financial bonus, but you know, just being able to create your own product, your own thing that has your name on it is a pretty cool thing to work towards, and a lot of people want to have that. And look at the time, like when Jaclyn was involved with Morphe, like she still had a really large channel, but this was 2014, 2015, not like when she had done like her Becca collab and stuff that, you know, really blew up. But this was like an intro thing, and there were other things as well, other like bundles and favorites and sets. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about that because, like I said, just gossip and just speculation. I don't take my word as fact. This is just what I think based off of some of the information that I have, because I have been clear from day one. Like, I am not looking to make this my job. So if some brand is going to be annoyed that I put a little bit of that information out there, I don't really care. But also, I'm not saying this is every single brand that offers an affiliate code. Like, not everyone has these sort of elaborate contracts. Not everyone has these crazy extra bonuses or things. I'm just saying some do. Some do, I know for a fact. I know some people are still going to ask, even though I said I can't talk about it. So no, I want to tell you, but I can't tell you because I don't want to get in legal trouble. So anyway, I just really wanted to take a moment to gossip because it was those early morning searches and when I kind of was just speculating, putting my little tinfoil hat on, which is fun to do sometimes. Sometimes it is fun to play conspiracy theorist. It doesn't mean that it's serious. This is just for speculative fun. So I'd love to hear your theories as well. And if you have any other information about Morphe or related to like the Jaclyn Hill favorites or the 35O palette, like did you fall for the hype? What was your experience with it? Were you into makeup at that time or did you have a different experience looking at it afterwards? Because I feel like looking back is a lot different than when you're actually in it. Because like me now would not fall for that, but me back in 2016, you know, definitely fell for that. So I'd love to hear some different perspectives as well. So thank you for humoring me. I feel like I should have had a literal tinfoil hat on for that end part of this video. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day or night wherever you are, and I hope we get a chance to chat soon. Bye for now.